This is Daniel Tal from PlaceMaker, and I'm going to demonstrate PlaceMaker version 3, how to import the various data that we have available with our new version, and also talk about the credit system when you import in data. So all the different data sets, some of them you can see here, include buildings, aerials, roads, paths, water, and the one I'm most excited about is terrain, and I'll demonstrate that as well. And we also have our 3D city mesh import and our Ecopia smart site, which is a survey-like import as well. And I'll demonstrate those in a series of videos. And just as a reminder, we have two ways to access the data in PlaceMaker. You can do a pay-as-you-go system or a subscription, and I'm going to talk about that when I import in the various data sets here. But you can also see there's a link to a separate video on how the credit system works, how you purchase it, and how it impacts the data sets you're importing into SketchUp. I'm going to demonstrate my favorite new feature in PlaceMaker version 3, which is our high-resolution import of terrain data. Now here I'm using the SketchUp location tool, and I imported in an area called Red Rocks, Colorado. It's an amphitheater west of Denver. And using the location tool in SketchUp, you get into low resolution aerial, and here's the location tool. If you ever need to open it, it's view location. And there's the terrain model that can be imported in natively with SketchUp. What I'm going to do is use PlaceMaker's terrain option and import in a better quality terrain to this. There's a little bit of nuance to using the terrain tool, but it's not that difficult. And it doesn't matter whether you're working with an existing terrain. I'm just going to go and select this flat aerial import. And on the terrain option, it's imported, it's a cesium terrain, that's the data provider. I'm going to set the grid spacing to 20. Now, the sharper the grid, the smaller the grid, the better the detail. And there's varying sets of what's available in terms of data really depends on location. So for the United Kingdom, for example, most of that country has about 1 meter resolution terrain, which is really high quality. For the United States, it ranges from 1 meter to 30 meters based off location, but typically it's ranging from 1 meter to 10 meters in a lot of locations in the US. So really accurate terrain. And then the rest of the world, it's ranging from 10 meters to 30 meters. So it does vary by locations, but it is really good quality. So first I'm going to click on this terrain. I have the grid spacing set to 20, and I'm going to click on Import Terrain. And here it's going to say, well, here's 8 credits. It's going to cost 8 credits if you are using the pay-as-you-go version, or if you're a subscriber. So subscribers still have to pay for it, but it's at a 50% discount in terms of credits. Now this is going to cost me 8 credits as a pay-as-you-go user, but if I was a subscriber, I'd get 50% off the total credits to import this area at 4. And again, the grid spacing's at 20. Let me explain something here though. I can adjust the grid spacing lower or higher, and that won't impact the cost. The grid spacing does impact based off the available data. We have no way of really telling you what the best approach is, but for a lot of spaces that are small size, I typically use a grid spacing of 20. In this case, I'm actually going to set the grid spacing to 5 feet because I know I have a really good terrain data set here. I'm going to click on this. The only thing is this process might take a little bit longer to do for it to start working. Again, I changed the grid spacing to 5. It's still the same number of credits. I'm going to click Confirm Order, and we're going to let that import in the terrain. Now these imports take a little bit longer because it was a 5-foot grid. And I'm going to turn it off and turn off the hidden geometry and show you this grid difference. I'm going to turn off the texture and show you the kind of terrain that it brought in. And I'm going to turn my layers on. I actually still have the original SketchUp terrain in here. So this is under PlaceMaker terrain tag. And I'll turn on, that's the SketchUp terrain versus the PlaceMaker terrain. So that's the PlaceMaker terrain, and now it's the SketchUp terrain. I'm going to do one more thing here, and I'm going to import in the high resolution aerial as well. And we'll just use Mapbox, and it says merge with surface is checked, which means it's going to drape it on the terrain, and I'm going to click on import imagery. Then I'm going to confirm the order, and we're going to let it drape it. Again, that can take a few minutes. This whole process with a higher res terrain mesh, the 5-foot grid or 20-foot grid, and then the aerials, can take about 10-15 minutes to complete, but the results are actually pretty good. And the aerial import is now done, and you can see the combination of using the PlaceMaker terrain and aerial tools really give you a very high quality resolution to these data sets. Again, I'm going to open up my layer window here, show you the difference. That's what you get normally from SketchUp. It's been using that for years. It's a good data set. But with PlaceMaker, we get more precision and some better graphics. I'm going to do some more videos on the terrain tools and some of their nuances, and also show the accuracy of it. But this is how these are working in PlaceMaker version 3. Really excited about the quality of the terrain that you can get.